Hi everybody, welcome to Quest for Thunder. Today's episode is a little different. We've received a lot of comments and questions asking us why we're doing what we're doing. And that's a very good question. Jean and I have discussed this for probably about 2 years to determine what it is that we really truly wanted to do. And we came up with this idea of moving aboard a sailboat and living a different sort of lifestyle based on a need that we felt we had to better control our destiny, to have more control over what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. We are by no means preppers or recluses or any of that sort of thing. We certainly aren't trying to flee from the political system, nothing that dramatic. We're not radical, we don't think in a radical manner, but what we do want is more control over our lives, more control over how we spend our money, where we live. You all know that things are changing very quickly in this world that we live in today, and that it isn't the same place that, say, we grew up in 30 or 40 years ago, or that our parents grew up in, or our grandparents grew up in. It's a different place, and in a lot of ways, it's better. We have technology that makes us a great deal more comfortable than they did, say, 75 to 100 years ago, and that's great. That's wonderful. But there have been a lot of changes politically, a lot of changes socially that we're just very uncomfortable with. And we felt like having a reduced footprint, more flexible, more flexibility in our financial options could give us the edge that we were looking for to provide that level of comfort that we seem to be losing year over year, dealing with mortgages and all of that. A lot of people on a lot of channels say similar things. I started looking at YouTube videos from other people who live on boats when we started thinking about this as an idea, and it was amazing to me the number of people who felt the same way I did. I think the very first one I started watching was Curtis Westsail in his video, livingonboardboats.com, I believe. And he was saying things like, I wanted to have more control over my life. I wanted to free up resources. I wanted to be able to come and go as I pleased without having to worry about being tied to anything. And I thought, wow, that sounds a lot like what I'm feeling. And so we decided to go down this road, to go down this path, and we would see where it would lead. And so we started looking at boats online, and then finally we moved to an area where boats are readily available, and so we started looking at boats in person. And we continued to watch the videos from other YouTube channels and to develop this dream, if you will. And I think where we're at right now is that we're just uncomfortable having a mortgage. We're uncomfortable being tied to, as Curtis would say, owing the man. We just don't want to do that anymore. We want a little more autonomy. The nice thing about having a boat is that if something isn't to your liking in a particular area, you just pull up the anchor and sail away. I know that sounds a bit trite, and it's probably not as easy as all of that. Particularly if you work. If you're living on a boat and you're working, and you have to work because you need income, you're just not there yet as far as having enough money to just sail away. Yeah, that changes the game plan. And Jean and I, we're at a point in our lives where I'm retired. I spent 30 years in the Navy, and she's about to retire, also from the Navy. And so our game plan is a little different, maybe, say, than somebody who still has to go to work and work a 9-to-5 job. But I think even those people, even people who are working, can benefit from this change of lifestyle. One of the interesting things that we found once we started looking at boats and into this lifestyle was the community that exists around the boating world. Incredibly nice people, very giving, willing to help, willing to go the extra mile, willing to lend expertise, and really they don't expect anything for it. It was a group of people that we felt very, very comfortable around. There was no pretense, and we just desperately wanted to be a part of that community. And as we've studied more and spent more time looking into this community, we've come to realize that there is a lot of like-mindedness amongst these cruisers, these people that live aboard and truly do it full time. We all look back sort of along the same plane, and we look back and say, okay, well, there are things about society and government, whether you're from Canada or Jamaica or the United States or China, it really doesn't matter. We can look down that same plane and we can say there are certain things along that plane that we really are uncomfortable with, that we really want to escape from. And while I caution people and I tell them we're not escapists, we're not trying to stick our head in the sand. We still participate in our form of government. We believe that we have a responsibility to do that. We're not running away and hiding. But we do want more control, and we do want the ability to make some decisions in terms of where we live and how we live that we really are limited in making now because we live in a house. When you live in a house, things change. You're kind of landlocked. You're stuck. You have a mortgage. Even if you want to sell your house, there's a time frame. There's a lot of additional expenses that go along with owning a home. And then, of course, if you work full time, then there's that commitment. And a lot of times, people who work don't necessarily enjoy what they're doing, and they may not necessarily agree either with what the company stands for, but you're kind of stuck because you need the income because you got to pay for the house and the car, the private school, whatever it is, whatever your nemesis happens to be. So anyway, I hope that this video kind of answers that question. We've been asked a number of times, particularly by our family, why are you doing this? This seems crazy. And the answer is definitely not simple. You can tell that I'm struggling to try to come up with an answer, really, because it's more of a feeling. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up, when certain things happen, and I feel like this avenue it offers me more flexibility, I guess. Because I know people who've opted for a tiny little house up in Alaska, off the grid, and that makes them happy. And they feel like they've accomplished whatever it is that they were trying to, their freedom, their separation, whatever. And that was the mechanism that they chose to reach that goal. And I've chosen a boat to basically do the same thing. I want to be more self-sufficient. I want to live off the grid. I'm not interested in living in marinas necessarily. I want to be able to come and go as I please. I want to live my life on my own terms. I've spent 30 years, almost my entire adult life, going where someone else told me to go and living where someone else told me to live. And I'm through with that. So I hope that helps answer the question of why and why we're doing what we're doing. We're not weird. We're not, hoarding, food for the apocalypse. We're not collecting ammunition and storing weapons. We're not doing any of that. We're just looking for a little more control over our lives, and we're offering it to you to see where we go and what we do. We're opening our window, if you will, so you can look in and follow us. And you know, we're asking people to tell us what they think. You know, when we're doing things, and as we get more towards the sailing part of our channel right now, we're just looking for the boat. Once we find it and start doing refits and we start doing some sailing, we have destinations in mind. I think that people's comments about, you know, go here, go there, try this, try that, will have a tremendous effect on what we choose to do, because we'll be able to avail ourselves of their experience, and we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to that collective understanding and that community that we truly do want to be a part of. So thanks for the comments. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for all you subscribers. We really appreciate you. And if you are watching this and you're not a subscriber, I would encourage you to subscribe so that you can get all the updated content, and so that you can become a part of this community as well, and that you can help shape our future by watching and commenting and sharing your knowledge and understanding with us, so that we can get smarter and better at what we're doing. And that's why we're doing it. So thanks again for tuning in, and thanks for watching Quest for Thunder, and we wish you all fair winds and following seas. Bye.